Coming to paperback and e-readers from the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women are becoming lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Pre-order your copy of The Woman Crisis on Amazon.com today. Earlier this month, a Cincinnati woman allegedly took her minivan and used it to run over two people in the parking lot of a Kroger supermarket. Now, in this incident, your 24-year-old Tavia Chapman allegedly took her minivan and used it to try to run over her baby daddy in the parking lot of a Kroger supermarket, and as a result, her boyfriend wound up with a broken leg, and a 58-year-old musician wound up losing his life. Now, the police are seeing this incident that transpired in the Kroger supermarket as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the behavior that your Tavia Chapman allegedly participated in, it fits the pattern and profile for toxic females that I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis. Now, your Tavia Chapman allegedly wound up taking this vehicle and using it as a weapon because she was upset about some information she found on her boyfriend's cell phone as he was shopping in the supermarket. And according to reports, your Tavia Chapman allegedly found information on the cell phone of an inappropriate relationship between her boyfriend and her sister. And as she saw this information, your Tavia Chapman allegedly wound up exploding in a rage, and once she saw her boyfriend in the parking lot coming out of the store, she started her vehicle with her 8-month-old child in the vehicle and then used the vehicle to try to run over her boyfriend. And as a result, sadly, Christopher Scott Griffith, a 58-year-old man who had absolutely nothing to do with this entire incident, wound up losing his life as this vehicle wound up hitting him at full force. Now, when I look at your Tavia Chapman's background, she's clearly got some issues because she had already been arrested before as related to issues she was having with her relationship with her baby daddy. And she and her boyfriend have been charged with child endangerment and interference with custody, showing that she seriously had issues. And in a previous case of child endangerment, she had been shown for assaulting allegedly a 9-year-old girl with a belt and punching her in the eye. So this woman clearly has serious issues as related to anger, as related to dealing with conflict, and because she has really poor conflict resolution skills, it looks like she goes out here and explodes in rage and acts impulsively without thinking critically about the consequences of her actions. And from her past background, it looks like this woman was possibly a ticking time bomb for an extended period of time. And because this woman was a ticking time bomb, it was just not a matter of if she was going to go off, it was a matter of when. And it looks like this woman, again, because she was insecure about the status of her relationship with the boyfriend she was involved with, she was upset that this man possibly could have an opportunity to leave her. What this woman did when she saw this information in the phone was she looked like she was going to explode in this rage. And what she did when she exploded in the rage was she wound up acting extremely impulsively, and she wound up acting so impulsively that she never even thought about the consequences of her actions. All she thought about was getting even with her boyfriend, and all she thought about was making this boyfriend pay for allegedly cheating on her. And because she was so caught up in her feelings about the possibility of this man breaking a trust as related to the relationship with her, she didn't really think about how she was endangering not only her child, who was possibly in the vehicle, but she was also endangering the lives of all the other people in that parking lot, because had that vehicle gone the wrong way, it would have been more than one person losing their life. And sadly, one person did lose their life as a result of this woman not having any sort of discipline or self-control. And your Christopher Scott Griffith, a 58-year-old man who was just going to the Kroger supermarket to go do some shopping, sadly wound up losing his life as a result of this woman not having any sort of discipline or any sort of self-control. And because this woman had no discipline or self-control, this 58-year-old man who had just recovered from a motorcycle accident where he was paralyzed from the neck down, he wound up losing his life just as he was getting back on his feet and getting back to walking. I mean, this man, basically, he was paralyzed from the neck down, and he had just managed to get himself back to walking. And as a result of this woman getting in her feelings over this Pookie, what she decided to do was go out here and decide that she wants to hurt Pookie, not ever thinking about the innocent man who wound up losing his life as a result of her extremely explosive rage. Now, when it comes down to many females like this, the reason why they explode in rage like this is because they really do not know how to navigate through their emotions, and they don't know how to go out here and feel the feelings but not act on the feelings. This is a big problem that many females have in our society because we enable dysfunctional behavior in females early on due to the way that we raise them, and because we raise them looking to give them passes for their bad behavior at an early age, they believe that they have a right to act impulsively, and they don't really have, and because we in our gynocentric society don't make these young girls feel consequences for their actions, they go out here continuing to think that they can act in any irresponsible way without any sort of accountability for their actions until their behaviors are so heinous and egregious that law enforcement has no choice other than to process them through the criminal justice system. Because with this woman, again, basically assaulting children at it early on, she clearly showed she was a clear and present danger, but our gynocentric criminal justice system gave her a pass until she went too far and went out here and participated in the alleged, as I see, murder of this innocent bystander who she was basically somebody, again, just going about their business. But had we gone out here and dealt with this woman early on and her toxic behavior, she would have known where the boundaries are, and she would have known where the line was, and would not have gone out here and done harm like this. Because, again, this type of emotional reaction to a Pookie allegedly cheating on you is just completely egregious. Because if a man is allegedly cheating on you, then you deal with that in private. You do not start up a vehicle and use it as a weapon to take that man's life. No, what this woman should have done if she thought this man was cheating was go out here and deal with this man inside of a family court, go get your child support, and then leave that man alone. But this woman didn't want to do that because she was in her feelings, and because she was enabled by the gynocentric criminal justice system, she believed that she could get a pass for going out here and participating in more reckless and egregious behavior. And now this woman is now dealing with a murder charge as related to the murder of this man and the injury of her boyfriend. And what's really disturbing about this whole situation is that, again, this woman was so caught up in her feelings over a man that she didn't think about more important things like the intangibles of her womanhood, like her dignity, like her self-respect, and most importantly, her freedom. Because after this man, who she says was cheating on her with her sister, goes out here and it will still have his freedom while she's sitting possibly in a penitentiary for the rest of her life for the murder of this white man, he's going to be out here getting with other women, including her sister, as she's sitting in a penitentiary for the rest of her life, because this black woman thought, oh, I'm mad at this black man, so I'm going to run him over. But she didn't think, oh, I'm going to be in jail for the rest of my life. My child will not be taken care of at all because she's probably going to go to the state. And while you're sitting in a prison for the rest of your life playing spades with Big Betty and Ramona, this dude who you had all of the anger at, he's the one sitting out here getting with the same sister you were upset that he was cheating with. And that's what happens, sadly, when you have women who get caught up in their feelings and don't sit down and think critically. That what happens is these women wind up destroying their lives, like this black woman wound up doing, because in this case, in white supremacist America, when you go out here and take the life of a white man, white supremacy is going to make sure that you are punished to the fullest extent of the law, and that is the consequence that this woman in crisis is going to have to deal with as related to the consequences of her alleged egregious behaviors. She is going to have to deal with having to be in prison for the rest of her life as related to the death of this Christopher Scott Griffith, again, a man who wound up working with different musicians like Prince, Aerosmith, and many others. And that man's life, again, the criminal justice system is going to punish this woman for the rest of her life as related to this case. So when I look at this case, again, it shows a disturbing trend as related to your women in crisis, because this case basically mirrors that of a nurse in California who also allegedly used a weapon as a vehicle as a weapon, and wound up using that to take the lives of 6 people in an intersection, all because she thought, again, a boyfriend was leaving her. And it shows how both of these women, in both of these cases, these feminist indoctrinated women, have a hard time dealing with a breakup or dealing with any failure in life. And instead of trying to learn the proper coping skills to deal with the failures in life, what these women do is look to destroy the lives of others, all because they are in their feelings. And this is a disturbing trend that's happening with a lot of these women out here today that I'm seeing with their behavior, that if life isn't going their way, they are participating in behavior similar to that of a mass shooter by going out here and using a vehicle as a weapon. Like in the case of that nurse in California, she used a vehicle as a weapon allegedly to take her life, but also didn't think about the lives of others the same way this woman didn't think about the lives of others. It was all about what she was feeling right now, and because she wasn't having the feelings that she wanted, what she wanted to do was hurt other people, and she wanted to hurt other people because she was feeling hurt on the inside. And that again has to do with the dysfunctional way we raise girls to become women, and the way we raise girls to become women in our feminist society does not teach them proper coping skills, does not teach them proper abilities to navigate through their emotions. And because they focus on the short term, they don't think about the long-term consequences. And sadly, that puts our society in jeopardy, because we have 2 to 3 generations of these kinds of females. And what's happening is that they're participating in this kind of violence. And what's truly troubling is this is the second incident I have heard in just a month or so, showing me that we're having an increase in frequency in this kind of violence. And what we're seeing is that we have women who do not have a locus of self-control. And because they don't have a locus of self-control, and they don't regard other people, they put other people in jeopardy, and they make just walking down the street or going to the supermarket a very dangerous situation. Again, this all has to do with the way we raise girls for the last 60 years, and because we raise girls to become feminists and not women, and we enabled dysfunctional behavior in women by not setting boundaries for them, they believe that they can act on their impulses and not be accountable for their actions. And as a result, we're seeing more and more of these violent incidents like this, because America doesn't want to go out here and set a boundary for America's women or hold them accountable for their actions. If we don't hold women accountable for their actions, we're going to see even more incidents like this. And sadly, more people will wind up losing their lives because we don't really want to go out here and put a boundary on women, hold them accountable for their behavior, and make them responsible for their behavior. Because when we don't make women like your Tavia Chapman responsible for these simple assaults that they make on children, they escalate their behavior into hurting adults. And that's what happened here in this situation. This woman became more out of control, and it seems like nobody wanted to do anything about her until sadly this white man wound up losing his life. And it's sad that this man had to lose his life. I mean, this man was just recovering from a motorcycle accident, and this woman comes out of nowhere and takes his life. But this is what happens when you don't put your women in check, and you wind up with women who are out of control, and those women make your society one where everybody winds up having to deal with the aftermath of the woman crisis. Now, if you want to learn more about what makes women like this act in the dysfunctional way that they do, you can pick up my upcoming book, The Woman Crisis, by pre-ordering it on Kindle, Smashwords, the iBookstore, Barnes & Noble, and Google Play by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to wait for the paperback, it will be available on November 29th or so, and you'll be able to get it then. But The Woman Crisis will show you why these women are behaving this way and how it is destructive to American society. So if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. The sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.